to Colossyan's platform and give you a bit of a tour. And then I'm going to show you how I built a couple of the videos, what the end product looks like, and take you through a step by step of how to do your own. Okay, so first things first, this is the Colossyan platform. So to note, I am using a enterprise plan. So you can see here all of the bells and whistles that I get. Personally, for me, there's so much great stuff here. I'm not going to name names of other platforms, but I think there's more here than I've seen from other platforms that I've used at this price point and plan. So this gives you a bit of an understanding of what's there. Key things to note for my friends in LND, you do get SCORM support here. There is interactivity, which I'm going to show you later on because some really cool bits there as well. And of course, from an enterprise perspective, as you would expect, enterprise security and all of the other usual components. So first things first, what I will say is after weeks of using this platform, this must be the easiest, the cleanest, and the most minimal layout I've ever worked with. And I love that. Again, not naming any names, but other platforms that I've used in this space and other areas, they just haven't been as simple to use. Something that I kept coming back to, and I'll show you as well when we're in the studio, is I just found it so simple to understand the features, the functions, how to use them. Nothing was buried in loads and loads of menus. So just want to point it out, for the team, that's a huge win there. So if you're watching, I'm liking it. Okay, so let's look at what we've got on our screen here. Some things you'll be familiar with, some things you may not know. So at the top here, you can see we can create a video. So we can do that from scratch or we can do that from a template. I'm going to show you templates on a different screen in a few moments. We've also got the AI video creator. So you're probably used to this kind of feature. What you can do is put a document in, that'll be turned into a video. Or if you've got a script, you can put a script in and turn that into a video. Classic ones here, PowerPoint, PDFs, you know the drill. Upload those and they can be created as well. And then instant avatars. So I'm on enterprise plan. I can record videos of myself. I can upload files of videos that I've already got on images and create my own avatar. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other features that we have got here. So basic things you already know, adding people to your workspaces. You've also got your classic settings functionality as well. They're things you already know, so we'll leave those for this video. My library, so you have everything in one place here, the drafts that you're working on, the exported videos, which I'm going to show you shortly. And then we get into some other interesting bits. So templates, I mentioned previously, you can view all of the templates here. Again, I really enjoyed a lot of these templates. Usually when you're using different platforms, you get a bunch of kind of very basic templates that don't always work for what you want. But actually, I really enjoyed the templates that are here, and I use these throughout some of my productions as well. If you want to know my favorites, I must say it's these two here at the top. I really love those templates, and I've been using them often, and maybe you'll see some of them on my socials and in the newsletter shortly. And then assets. So something that I really liked is that you were able to create your own brand kit here, which makes it so simple when you're creating multiple videos to have a brand kit already installed and able to use across your production. So again, you're probably familiar with this. Choose your textiles, choose your colors, choose your logos. What I also like as well is that in your productions, you can add the logos to the avatars. Again, add all your colors to the templates and textiles. Just really simple to do this. And again, hopefully you start to see like how quick and easy it is to access a lot of this stuff. Again, basic features, media library, upload your own images, upload your own videos. Now, a feature that I haven't really seen elsewhere, because it's probably buried under loads of menus from other platforms that are out there, but it's pronunciations. So you might find sometimes that an avatar doesn't quite say the word properly that you've put. And actually what you can do is come here and add in a new word. You can put in the written form of what it is, the phonetic spelling, so how do you actually say it, and then assign that to one of the hundreds of voices that are available in the platform and add that word. So if the avatar struggles with it, you can actually update that and have that in the system for the future. I thought that was a really nifty feature to have. And then, of course, the other assets that you would expect here, you have all of the voices. You can clone your own voice should you wish to. You can have that, as you can see here, in 32 different languages. I mean, there's over 904 voices to choose from. So I am pretty sure you're going to find what you want there. And then on top of that, we have also got all of the avatars, which there are many, and there are different versions, of course. So I should point out that we've got these new Neo 2 avatars, which I have primarily been using in my productions, and you'll see. But there are so many that you can use. And what I really like as well is that they've all got different features. So you can see some have got signs here to say inside view report. Some of them have got hand gestures and different gestures on their face. So there's just loads to choose from based upon the kind of context that you're working in. Some have backgrounds, some without backgrounds. There's a great opportunity here to select from, so many to use in what you're doing. So in terms of kind of some of the key features on the platform itself, that's what we've got here. And again, you've got the classic things, help and support, learning about Colossyan in itself. So what I'm going to do now is take us back to the home page, and then we're going to do a few things here. So one is I want to show you a couple of videos that I've already created. And then what we'll then do is go into my master file that we've got here to see how I built those videos. I can talk you through that. And I'm going to show you some of the features that I didn't use in those videos, but actually will think would be really beneficial for education teams, L&D teams as well, and go through that, see how those work and how you could potentially implement them too. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is show you an end product of one of my productions. So I released a report with my newsletter audience of about 5,000 L&D and education pros to understand what were the habits, choices, and behaviors with AI tools in their practice. And that's available on other links you can find online. But what I wanted to do was test Colossyan here by providing part of that report as a script and building a few avatars to actually verbalize this and find a way to tell an interesting story as part of that report with this. So this is the end product here. I am just going to play this for you here so you can see what something looks like.
2025 saw the biggest surge of AI-powered tools hit the learning tech market. Practitioners are dazzled by products that promise to automate.
So one thing I will say immediately is I like the gestures here. I know some people might not, but I actually find that kind of engages me a bit more.
Our worries away, yet the real picture is hard to see with everything looking the same and seemingly offering the same thing. It's hard for workplace learning teams to know what's worth their often limited budget. I'm sure you see the endless talk at events, conferences, and on social media about AI use in learning and development. Yet there feels like very little substance to it all. It mostly focuses on tool hype and showcasing the latest gimmicky trend infecting our feeds, which we both know has little to no value. So this led me down a rabbit hole of questions. I wanted to understand how high-performing learning teams using AI strategies and tactics. What are their trusted AI-powered tools? And of course, the most effective ways AI is supporting their work. Let's check out one of the big insights from this research. To answer the obvious, what we do know is that most teams/pros are heavily LLM-based when it comes to AI tool usage, and the tool of choice is dominated by what's approved in the workplace. That makes sense. The bigger piece to talk about is what we.
What I'd also say as well is I didn't add in any of the ers or ums in the script. So I thought that was really interesting in terms of a natural way to be conversing. So yeah, props to that.
Can note from the way teams and individual pros get value from these tools. Leah, can you tell us more about that?
Sure thing, Carlos. What's most revealing is that understanding the value proposition also provides a framework for adoption. Stick with me. I see the value of AI for learning teams as three levers. Some sit in one level, while others move freely across all three as new tools emerge.
Okay, you get the idea there pretty much. So that is what a finished product can look like. And that took me about 10-15 minutes to do using my own script and other components. And another one I want to show you very quickly is before we get into actually looking at how to create a production is interactive avatars. So interactive avatars is something I have covered with other tools. I wanted to do that here too. So I will say that this is new for Colossyan, so it's still being developed and might not seem as mature yet, but I think there is a lot of promise here. Now, what you're able to do in this is in the studio is you see interaction up here, which we'll look at in another production later on because I've already created this one. So what I really show you briefly is that you are able to create these conversational avatars. You've not seen these before. These are avatars that can see you, can hear you, you can have a conversation with. And there's a bunch of presets that you can select from. So there's a few here that the Colossyan team's already put in, or you can just create your own. So you can tell it who you are, what it should know, what the goal is. So you can see here the goal is for this avatar to be working with a customer support team to understand TV sales. You can create different ones. So we'll have knowledge assessment. And then we'll say here that it's going to ask 10 open-ended questions to me as a trainee about the TV. So if we just see as a preview very quickly to give you an idea of how this works, it might take a little bit here. So we will just press play. And then for the purpose of this video, of course, I will pause this bit here so we can get into it.
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks. Ready to jump into those TV sales scenarios whenever you are.
I'm ready. Let's
Let me
go for
know.
it.
Awesome, let's get rolling. I'll ask you the 10 open-ended questions one by one. Feel free to answer in detail, and we'll discuss each as we go. Question 1. When a customer says they're not sure what size TV to get, key questions do you ask to uncover the right size for their space?
Oh, I ask them where they're going to have the TV in their house and how much available space they have in that area.
Sounds solid. Knowing the location and space is key. Next, how would you guide them through measuring the viewing distance and using that to suggest an ideal screen size?
I would tell them to sit on their sofa and give me a rough estimate of how far the sofa is where they're placed to watch the TV to the wall. Or they could use the measurement app on their iPhone as an example.
Got it? That's a practical way to gauge distance. You could also suggest they measure from where they'll sit to the TV and then use the 1.5-2 rule viewing distance 1.
Okay, you get the idea. So there's a lot of power there in conversational avatars, and they are available in the tool as well. So you've seen one finished production and one kind of semi in test production, should I say. So let's look at how I created this AI coworker report video here. So we'll go into my aptly named master file, and then we can see a bunch of the features and functions that I'm using. So again, as I said previously, it's a really clean and easy to use studio. So on the side here, I have the ability to enter my script, to change any components. I have all of my little kind of features here. So using the AI assistant, I've used that a couple of times to help out with the copy with different bits. So we can click that. And as an example, yeah. So you can see here, brainstorming ideas, helping to kind of make the script tighter if need be. You've also got the areas to add animations, your transitions as well, switching different views of avatars if you want to. So using gestures, side view, back view, all of that good stuff there. And then of course, pronunciations. And then what you're also able to do, as we see up here, is so I've got it in English, but I can add a new translation if I want to. So I can choose from all of these languages, which is just so many, to choose from and put in here to do translation pretty easily and very seamlessly. So you can see here what I did for this production is I've got 3 scenes here, and I've used a couple of different avatars to help with those scenes. I have the ability to add new avatars, all the selections that I showed you earlier on here, loads of ways to filter that. We've also got the capability to change voices. So I can use a custom voice. I can add in my own voice if I wanted to. There's loads of other options here based upon the scenario that I am looking at. But you saw the video, so what would be really interesting to look at is some of the things that I didn't include. So at the top here, you probably guessed very basic things, adding in your avatars, adding in shapes, adding in text, the media section that we spoke about earlier on. You can create AI images from within the studio as well, should you wish to. Music is already here to add in video components. So there's loads of stuff in the stock library there. If I want to, I can record my screen as well, and that will be inserted into the production too. But what I want to look at is this interactivity section or interaction section. And what I thought was really useful is that if you're creating this, is that you can put in action buttons. So if you want people to go to different links for videos or websites, if you want to put multiple choice components into some of this, you can do that as well. So you can see here, I can add in multiple choice questions if I want to, or maybe not questions, it can be something else. And they can click there and that can take them to different areas. what I'm also able to do is add in branching scenarios. So an example here may be that after looking at this part of my report, maybe I want to give people the option to say, where do you want to explore further? And I could put in two different options, and then that could take them to a different scenario for each. So they can basically choose their own adventure as part of this. So if I was to do this as a bigger production and include all of my report and all the bells and whistles, this would be a very handy feature to use. And of course, for those of you in education or L&D space, you can see how this can be applied here as well. And again, really simple to use. You can see all of the things here that you can do, and you can build. This is, like I say, choose your own adventure, use it to help those impactful stories so people can do that too. So you've got quite a bit: action button, multiple choice, branching, conversation here as well. And it's really easy to do that. So we'll just click undo on that for the purpose of this. Like I say, you get so many options here. I mentioned previously, you can change the appearance. So for example, this avatar, I can just have them like this. I can have them as a bubble. I can have them as a full body avatar that can sit here as well. I can have different views. So front view, front, side back. If they're talking to another avatar, you can have two avatars in the same scene as well. So there is so many options here to choose from for your productions. And I think, from an L&D standpoint, from an education standpoint, that gives you a lot to play with. And like I've already said, look, it's really simple to use this interface here. You can save it as a template. You can apply your styles. So overall, look, that is the platform end to end. There is lots there that is on offer. As I've said, I like this from a aspect of how easy it is to use, how minimal and clean. Even things like I've not mentioned here on the side, but you can just hit / and you can do all of these components, all of the up-to-date kind of editing features that you expect. And actually, I would say, if Colossyan were doing different types of video production, not just with avatars and other bits, I would be using this all the time for that as well, because it's just so easy to pick up and go. But my friends, hopefully that is helpful. That gives you a end-to-end overview of another AI avatar platform. As always, if you like this, let me know. Drop a comment wherever you're viewing this, drop a like, all that good stuff for the algorithm. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me, and I will speak to you in the next one.